There's a saying that in heaven, the police are British, the cooks are French, and the workers are German. In hell, the chefs are British, the workers are French, and the lovers are Swiss. Now, I'm not trying to throw any shade here, but when you're traveling across different countries, it's very easy to cherry pick the best parts of different places to create this perfect image in your head. I find that a lot of Americans have this romanticized idea of living abroad in a foreign country, and that's really exciting. But the reality is living and going on vacation in a place is two completely different things. That is essentially what this video is about. Hi, my name is Jay. I've been living abroad for just over 8 years now in Malaysia, where I grew up, London, and New York City, where I currently live in and I work in the tech industry. I can safely say that living abroad has been the most important decision of my life. And over that course, I've learned a ton of valuable lessons and grown so much as an individual. I wanted to share with you 5 key lessons I wish I knew sooner before embarking on my journey, so that you can help set up yourself for success. Now, why should you watch this video? Whether you're excited about the prospects of living abroad, or maybe you're on the fence on taking that first leap. Maybe you're already living abroad, you feel lonely, you feel homesick, and you need a reminder to why you're doing this in the first place. This video is for you. So I grew up in Malaysia. When I was 19 years old, I moved to the UK for my bachelor's degree. And when I was 23, I got accepted into Columbia's Fu Foundation School of Engineering to study data science. When I first arrived in New York, I remember living in a $50 Airbnb apartment per day in Flushing, Queens for 3 weeks with a bunch of random strangers. I had no friends and it felt so daunting at the time, looking back. Perhaps the most important lesson I learned here is what it means to be an outsider or being an outsider. When you're living in a foreign country for an extended periods of time, you'll eventually start to notice flaws in different places. For example, why is healthcare in America so inaccessible? Why is smoking so prevalent in Europe? Why is it that human rights in Asia so outdated compared to other parts of the world? People will also misunderstand you for being different. Why do people of different color treat me differently because of the way I look and the way I talk? On the flip side, you can also say a lot of positive things. You'll come to realize that there's not really a right or wrong way to do things. Essentially, there are structural and societal differences at the way different cultures arrive at the same conclusion. And one prime example I wanted to highlight was communication patterns. In the West, in places like New York, in London, you'll find that there is a much lower context communication bandwidth where what I say is what I mean. Social norms in the West reward people who are extroverted. Even in the workplace, one of the best advice I got was to always sell yourself and voice out your opinion. In the East, there is a much more higher context communication where you have to read between the lines more and pick up non-verbal cues. Use being an outsider to your advantage. Being an outsider means that you have your own unique views, and that's what makes you, you. One really easy way to expand that notion of being an outsider and using it to your advantage is to make one friend that is outside your circle. And once you make that one friend, it becomes really easy to make the next friend and the next friend, and you'll start to learn about other cultures, and that'll make you a more interesting person. My second point is about money. Money matters a lot. Having not enough money is going to make you a miserable person. This statement is especially true in New York City, where rent here is going to cost you, what? A minimum of $3,000 for a tiny shoebox apartment in Midtown. Eating out will cost you $30 plus tips and tax. And if you're going out for drinks with your friends, you can expect to throw in another $40 there. But the one thing about finance I wanted to highlight is hidden cost. We don't oftentimes have hidden costs at the back of our head. any sudden health scares that pop out of nowhere, hidden costs are going to add up very, very quickly. If you're a student here like me before, you also find that it's very difficult to not convert the currency in your head. I remember when I was living in the UK, I would always feel very, guilty about spending money because everything there was like 6 times more expensive. It's really important to be wary of your financial situation and learn to really budget for those hidden costs that you don't really seem to expect. Before you buy something, ask yourself, do I really need this? The next lesson I learned, this lesson is a lot more abstract than my first 2 points, and I want you to listen very carefully because it took me about 7 years to finally realize this. When you're living in a foreign country, it's really important to be strong. I mean that it's really important to be mentally strong. You're gonna face a lot of challenges, whether you're trying to assimilate into a new culture. I would say the biggest problem that a lot of people have is feeling lonely. Having that, not feeling like you can connect with people because you're so different from everyone else. It's hard because you're learning how to adapt. Really take care of your physical health first, being very mindful of your emotions. Find a good support system, whether it's a friend that you can rant about on a Thursday night or you're calling your family members back home. It's really important to lean into those things so you can do well and maximize your chances of success. I love New York City. After moving from Malaysia to the UK to New York, I can say that I love New York because of the cultural fit. And I felt like London wasn't really it because I really underestimated the small things like the bland food, the gloomy weather. The only way that we can find out if we want to live in a place is to actually go live there and experience it yourself. Don't write a script on how you think your life is gonna play out. Literally taking a step at a time is the best thing you can do and not having any expectations. When you move to a country, just be more open-minded and try not to put too much expectations on how you think things are gonna play out because most likely none of it is gonna happen. My last lesson is a really quick one. There's nowhere like home. After being away for 8 years, I can truly say that I've grown to appreciate Malaysia more and more each year, and I've learned to understand my roots and where I came from. There you go, those are my 5 lessons. If you enjoyed this video, comment below what other lessons did you learn living abroad. I hope you got something out of this video, and like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.